Hello, my name is Jessie with Oregon Shores Conservation Coalition, and welcome to CoastWatch Mile 116, South Cove in Coos County. South Cove is located at the end of Cape Arago Highway in Cape Arago State Park, about 15 miles south of the City of Coos Bay. On the entire 360-mile length of Oregon's beaches, Oregon Parks and Recreation has assigned numbers that assist first responders in case of an emergency. This number will alert first responders to the beach, and a larger sign on the cliffs is visible to watercraft. As you can see, the number at South Cove is 139. This number does not correspond with Highway 101 mile numbers or CoastWatch mile numbers, but is a special indicator number for emergencies. In a 2001 amendment to Oregon's Territorial Sea Plan and the Rocky Habitat Management Plan, Cape Arago Rocky Shores, including Sunset Bay, Simpson Reef, North Cove, Middle Cove, South Cove, and Shore Acres, were designated as a research reserve. Invertebrate and algae harvest is allowable by scientific permit only, with species exceptions in some areas. We begin at the top of a 100-foot terrace where a switchback trail leads down to the beach. Looking out over this cove to the south, we see cliffs to the east and west. The first time I stood here, I saw a gray whale mother and her calf feeding on mysids in the kelp beds. They belong to the Pacific Coast Feeding Aggregation. Not all gray whales migrate to Alaska in the summer. Some of them are known animals here that are seen every year. Keep a lookout for them at the end of Drake Point on your right. While at South Cove, you can see the results of millions of years of sediment deposits, uplifting, compressing, and folding, sagging, and eroding. The Cape Arago Fault runs north to south through the Cape and the center of the bay. The hard rock and soft rock formations at South Cove are shaped by wind and droplets of salt water. Etching of tilted sandstone beds of various hardness by waves make the many patterns you find here. Some of the largest concentrations of concretions in Oregon are found at Cape Arago. Water also carried calcium carbonate into sandstone, hardening it. Saltwater crystals can cause holes to form, while algae protects the rock, creating the honeycomb effect. Stone-boring clams, urchins, and other invertebrates grind away at sandstone and create cavities. In this virtual tour, you will see various tide heights. Right now, we're going to head out to Drake Point at low tide and see what we can find in the tide pools. That bird call you're hearing, that's the pigeon guillemot, and we may see some of those later. Lying before us, and a bit slippery, is rockweed, a type of brown algae or seaweed. Watch where you walk, you may see some small crabs. Peering into this beautiful pool, you can see a lot, including giant green anemones. Touch carefully and never in the center. Keep a lookout for these ribbed limpet or finger limpet. Look for them especially along cracks and crevices, often clustering with others of its own and other species of limpets. This beautiful resident of the intertidal and shallow subtidal zones is a mossy chitin. Chitins descend from ancient mollusks. You can see 6 of its 8 shelly overlapping plates. It eats red and green algae and moves at night with the tides. This mossy chitin is about 6 centimeters, or just over 2 inches long. Here we have a leather chitin, and these can grow up to 5 inches in 3 years. Less sensitive to light because of its color, these can be spotted fairly easy during low tide. The largest chitin is called a gumboot and can grow up to 13 inches. It has plates, but they are hidden under its leathery skin. Gumboot chitins can live up to 20 years. The marine algae you'll see on a visit to tide pools fall into 3 groups: green, brown, and red. One of my favorite in the red group is coralline algae, which this pool is full of. An abundance of black turban snails is sure to greet you at South Cove. This species of medium-sized marine sea snails will flee if it detects a predator nearby, and if already in motion, can increase its speed from 2 to 3 centimeters per minute to around 8 centimeters per minute. Its predators include sea stars, crabs, octopus, and gulls. Empty black turban snail shells are often utilized by another common intertidal animal, the hermit crab. We now leave the tide pools of Drake Point and head over to some equally fabulous tide pools on the west side of this cove. On the beach, as well as in the tide pools, you can have a field day identifying dozens of different kelps, some which grew nearby and some which washed ashore. You can find everything from seersucker kelp, red ribbon, iridescent horn of plenty, bladderwrack, Turkish towel, bullwhip kelp, ulva, little rockweed, black pine, spongy cushion, sea moss, and so much more. And of course, no visit to the intertidal zone would be complete without seeing a sea star or 2 or 3. This is a mottled sea star that we spotted on a sea star observation survey. Here is a beautiful blood star, a purple ochre sea star, one of the most common. There's another purple one here. Here's an orange one. Keep a look for them in the crevices. They do like to hide. And here is a gorgeous giant green sea anemone, closed, seemingly naked, because it doesn't have any of the shells or limpets or snails that usually adorn it. I hope you enjoyed your virtual tour today and that when you return to South Cove, you'll share all that you learned with people that you bump into in the tide pools. Take care.